Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting of the Fairfield City Council to order, please. And roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Councilmember Carr is absent. Councilmember Panduro?
Here.
Councilmember Tonneson?
Here.
Councilmember Vaccaro?
Here.
Councilmember Williams?
Here.
Vice Mayor Bertani?
Here.
And Mayor Moy.
I am here. And tonight our invocation will be presented by Baha'i Surinder Singh from the Sikh Temple, please. You can come up here to the microphone here. Sure.
Over there.
Or you can come right here.
Yeah, that's better.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is PJ Grewal, and I'm part of the Guru Nanak Sikh Temple Management Committee. And we would like to thank the City Council, Mayor's Office, City Manager's Office for inviting a representative of our community to offer this invocation. And so with me is our head Granthi, Surinder Singh. He will first do a brief prayer. During that time, we would request all of you to stand up. It'll be about a minute or so. It's for the well-being of community and our country. After that, he will sing few lines from the Holy Book. And after that, I will do a brief translation of what was said. And then that's it. Thank you. So if you guys can stand up for a little bit.
Thank you. Everybody stand, please.
ਬੋਲਣਾ ਜੀ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਇੱਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਭਗਵਤੀ ਜੀ ਸਹਾਇ ਵਾਰ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਭਗਵਤੀ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹੀ ਦਸਵੀਂ ਪ੍ਰਥਮ ਭਗਵਤੀ ਸਿਮਰ ਕੈ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਲਈ ਤੇ ਆਏ ਫਿਰ ਅੰਗਦ ਗੁਰ ਤੇ ਅਮਰਦਾਸ ਰਾਮਦਾਸ ਹੋਏ ਸਹਾਇ ਅਰਜਨ ਹਰ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਨੂੰ ਸਿਮਰਾਉ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਹਰਿ ਰਾਏ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਹਰਿਕ੍ਰਿਸ਼ਨ ਤੇ ਆਈਐ ਜਿਸ ਡਿਠੈ ਸਭ ਦੁਖ ਜਾਏ ਤੇਗ ਬਹਾਦਰ ਸਿਮਰਿਆ ਘਰ ਨਾਉ ਨਿਧ ਆਵੈ ਧਾਏ ਸਭ ਥਾਈ ਹੋਣਾ ਜੀ ਸਹਾਇ ਦਸਵੇਂ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਪਿਤਾ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਜੀਓ ਸਭ ਥਾਈ ਹੋਣਾ ਜੀ ਸਹਾਇ ਦਸਾਂ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹੀਆਂ ਕੀ ਜੋਤ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਕੇ ਪਾਠ ਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਦੀਦਾਰ ਦਾ ਧਿਆਨ ਧਰ ਕੇ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਜੀ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਬੋਲੋ ਜੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਨਿਮਾਣਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਮਾਣ ਧੰਨ ਧੰਨ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਪਿਤਾ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਚਰਨਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਹੈ ਸਿਟੀ ਆਫ ਫੇਅਰਫੀਲਡ ਐਂਡ ਯੂਨਾਈਟਿਡ ਸਟੇਟ ਆਫ ਅਮਰੀਕਾ ਦੇਸ਼ ਨੂੰ ਚੜ੍ਹਦੀ ਕਲਾ ਬਖਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰਨੀ ਸਰਬੱਤ ਲੋਕਾਈ ਦੇ ਭਲੇ ਲਈ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਜੋਦੜੀ ਹੈ ਸਹੀ ਗੁਰਮੁਖ ਪਿਆਰੇ ਮੇਲਣੇ ਜਿਹਨਾਂ ਮਿਲਿਆ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਨਾਮ ਚਿਤਾਵੈ ਨਾਨਕ ਨਾਮ ਚੜ੍ਹਦੀ ਕਲਾ ਤੇਰੇ ਭਾਣੇ ਸਰਬੱਤ ਦਾ ਭਲਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ ਅਵਲ ਅੱਲਾ ਨੂਰ ਉਪਾਇਆ ਕੁਦਰਤ ਕੇ ਸਭ ਬੰਦੇ ਏਕ ਨੂਰ ਤੇ ਸਭ ਜਗ ਉਪਜਿਆ ਕੌਣ ਭਲੇ ਕੋ ਮੰਦੇ ਅਵਲ ਅੱਲਾ ਨੂਰ ਉਪਾਇਆ ਲੋਗਾ ਭਰਮ ਨਾ ਭੂਲੋ ਭਾਈ ਨਾ ਭੂਲੋ ਭਾਈ ਖਾਲਕ ਖਲਕ ਖਲਕ ਮੈਂ ਖਾਲਕ ਖਲਕ ਮੈਂ ਖਾਲਕ ਪੂਰ ਰਹੋ ਸਰਬ ਠਾਏ ਅਵਲ ਅੱਲਾ ਨੂਰ ਉਪਾਇਆ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ
Thank you everyone for your attention and respect. So in the first part, in the prayer, the main thing that was addressed to Almighty God, that He should provide Chardi Kala to City of Fairfield and our country, United States of America. Chardhi Kala basically translates to a state of affairs or state of mind which is ascending, optimistic, positive, and resilient. And the other important concept in the prayer was Sarbat Dapala. It's a wish for well-being of the entirety of humanity. So these two concepts are in daily prayers of the observant Sikh people. These two concepts make important part of the daily prayers. So after that, few lines were sung by Surinder Singh from the living Guru, Guru Granth Sahib, which is the holy book. And these lines have a universal message for everyone. They are not meant for one community or faith. Basically, translation is not always easy, as you guys know, so I will do my best. Basically, they say, the entire universe came about from one light. Then how can we label some part of it good and some bad? O men, my brethren, do not stray in doubt. Creation is the creator, and the creator is in the creation. He is fully occupying all places. Clay, from which the creation is made, is same, but he has fashioned it in diverse ways. There is no fault with the vessel made of the clay, nor is there any fault with who made the vessel. He, the one true Lord, is in the midst of it all, and in his will that everything is done under his will. Whoever realizes the Lord's will, he alone knows the one Lord, and he alone is his true servant. The Lord is invisible and cannot be seen, but the Guru has blessed me with his sweet name, says Kabir. My doubt has been dispelled, and now I see the immaculate Lord everywhere. Thank you.
Thank you both very much. All right, now, Madam Vice Mayor, if you could lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please join me in saluting our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll turn to council reports. Yes? Oh, sure. Here we go.
One, two, three. Okay, got it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Take care. Thank you. All right, we'll turn to council reports, and we'll start with Councilwoman Williams, please.
Oh, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
I hardly get to go first. Hello, everyone. I would like to report on two different things. I went to the 2024 California Economic Summit. This year it was in Sacramento versus LA, and it was quite amazing. This is such a unique event in that city and county staff, along with city council members, county people, all converge to talk about economic development, what's happening all throughout California. And what it does is it allows me a place where I get to learn and imagine Solano County and Fairfield. So that was amazing. But also I would like to report out on an event that we had Saturday, the Fire Prevention Town Hall. It talked about wildfire. Oh, and by the way, thank you, Scott Tonneson, for coming. Earthquake preparedness, smoke detectors, fire extinguishers, residential sprinklers systems, evacuation procedures, all things that we all care about. The reason why I'm talking about it after the fact is because you can see it. It was recorded. Thank you for the Mod Squad for being there and recording it. And as soon as I see it on live, I will share it. But I will tell you that I learned a lot. I went there really not knowing how to use my own fire extinguisher, and learned how to test it and to use it there because I went to that event. And if you watch, you'll be able to see that too. So finally, I get to report on something I'm going to. So tomorrow, leaving for 3 days to Sacramento again, for the Water Education Foundation's Northern California tour. And 3 whole days they have us, and I get to go with city staff, and I cannot wait to learn more about water, how it impacts Northern California, and how it impacts us here in Fairfield. And that is all. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much, Councilwoman. Councilman Tonneson, please.
Thank you, Mayor. So I want to talk about the downtown as usual. We have some 3 new restaurants coming. We had the grand opening of Aunt Bill's Soul Food. That was Kay Patrice attended that, as did planning commissioners Werblin and Kennedy. Great grand opening, really well attended. And for those of you that don't know, it's in the old Chase Soul spot. So that didn't stay vacant for very long. We've also got the Dumpling House is coming along, finally. They should be opening here soon. And then a new restaurant's coming to town. It's a Cajun Steakhouse, and it's going to be, if you're familiar with the downtown, it's 2 doors down from Joe's. He's hoping for an opening of that in March, April of next year. So the downtown is pretty alive and vibrant. I was kind of moved last Friday. I was down there and every restaurant was full. So it's and for me, no parking is a good thing because that means the downtown's full. So also I went to the fire department's open house. Fire Marshal Chef Conte was flipping the dogs at a vigorous pace and feeding us all. So it was a great time. It's always a good showing there, and they're really good to the kids. So if you missed it this year, you can come next year, and hopefully you'll get to taste one of his dogs. That's all for me, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Vaccaro?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. So tomorrow, a few of us leave for California League of Cities, which is down in Long Beach, and I know we go, well, some of us do go every year, and it's really important because we talk about new legislation, we get to meet people from other cities. I think our city is actually doing a presentation on Thursday, the city manager, the mayor, and our assistant city manager on the portal, correct? So that'll be, I'm looking forward to seeing that. And it really is one of the big highlights of the year as far as any conference you go to, because you really do get to have some real deep discussions with other city council members, mayors, city managers around the state. So looking forward to that. The only other thing I have is yesterday, myself and some of the other, I didn't play because I've been kind of hobbled lately, but I went to the Mac Garcia Foundation golf tournament. I know Councilman Tonneson played, David, city manager played, I think Councilwoman Pandora played, and Dan Marshall, our police chief, who's back there, he played too. And it's a pretty special for me since 16 years ago. I took Matt's seat on the council because of his, tragic death. So it's, and anytime we go anywhere where, it honors Matt and his legacy, it's really important, very personally important to me. That really is my report for the night. Thank you, Mayor.
And we'll never forget, Councilman Vaccaro, your part in his life and what you've done over the last 16 years here. Councilwoman Pandora.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. Last week, I attended the last Civic Leaders Breakfast on base. So this is a breakfast that's held on base, and civic leaders throughout Solano County are invited to come on base and receive updates from the commander. So we have a new commander, Colonel Jay Johnson, and he was brought in July. And it's every 2 years that this happens, that we get a new commander on base. And so it was great to be able to attend, and we get to connect with other local leaders also from the congressional and even from even up higher than that. So it's great to hear what's going on base and to maintain that relationship, because we always, one of our priorities, and we talk about this a lot on the dais, is about protecting the base, right, and in supporting the base. And so this is one of those ways that we as electeds are able to do that, is by going on the base and connecting with those who work on the base and lead the base. As we all know, it's a very important part of our country's defense system. I also attended the Buzz Awards. So every year, the Fairfield Student Chamber does have an award ceremony to acknowledge and honor our local businesses. So Citizens of the Year, Business of the Year, Up and Coming Professional of the Year. And so I was able to attend, and I was able to, on behalf of the City of Fairfield, present the City of Fairfield Business of the Year Award. And it was to a District 5 business, which is Fresh Laundries. And so they are a new laundromat in town on North Texas. And so they were awarded this year with Business of the Year, which was really exciting for them and their family. And then lastly, I want to make aware we are having a Day of the Dead event, or Dia de los Muertos, over at Sullivan Language Immersion Academy on November the 2nd from 12 to 4. All are welcome. This is in collaboration with the school district as well as Solano Community College. There's going to be food, music, activities, but also the students the week before are all creating their own altares or ofrendas, which is where you put your pictures of your loved ones that have passed and the way to honor them. And they're going to be on display, but also we're going to have a big community ofrenda where people from community can come and participate and honor the ones that have passed, their loved ones that have passed. And again, that's going to be over at Sullivan on November the 2nd from 12 to 4. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Madam Vice Mayor?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you, everyone, for coming out this evening and taking the time to actually be here in the chambers. It's always a better meeting when you're here. So thank you for taking the time to be here this evening. And I'll just be very brief. Guess what's around the corner? Not Halloween, Thanksgiving. And the Fairfield Clergy Action Network, or Fairfield CAN, will be hosting our 4th annual Thanksgiving meal the week before Thanksgiving on Tuesday, the 19th of November at Willow Hall, 1000 Kentucky Street at the Fairfield Community Center. And our target is 70 turkeys. We now have 50 turkeys. We need 20 more turkeys. And we basically, okay, Latan's good for 5. There we go. All right,
More
so
out there.
and we need 10 more turkeys, and that's important. And you know why? Because this Thanksgiving meal for many of the attendees is their Thanksgiving meal. And it's a wonderful thing that we've been able to do, is to not only provide a hot, delicious sit-down meal, but we're able to provide families with food to take home, turkeys and trimmings to take home, because remember, Thanksgiving is the next week. So we're overshooting on the turkeys, and that's primarily why. And I just received word that we're going to be having Pastor Sam Morris, Bay North Church, is going to supply the smoker that's about as long as this room. It's amazing. And it cooks all of the turkeys at the same time. So we've got 70 turkeys on this thing. They all come out hot, fresh, ready to go. And this is the best turkey you've ever, this is some really good turkey. So enough with the turkeys, Pam, right? Okay, I'll stop. But anyway, if you would like to donate 1 turkey or 2 turkeys, or if you would like to donate a turkey or anything else, please contact Kelly Ballard. She is the keeper of all turkeys, and she is at 428-7401, right here in City Hall on the 4th floor, 428-7401. 7401. She's got our lists all color-coded and everything. So the next thing we need are greeters and servers. So if you're free on that Tuesday afternoon from 12 to 3, come on down and help us serve some hot, delicious meals to people who really appreciate having this meal. So that is on the 19th of November. And then I just wanted to say, on Sunday, a couple of days ago, I attended the Solano Challenger Pro Tennis event at Solano Community College. Is that cool? What a tremendous event. We had national talent, serious nationally ranked tennis players right here in the city of Fairfield. The event was 5-star. And the match was amazing. So I am hoping that in the days and months to come, the city of Fairfield can somehow partner with that program out at Solano Community College. If they truly are doing a fantastic job, and people support what they help to create. So hopefully we can get involved and make the events even bigger and better than they are now. And that is my report. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, and thank you for everything you're doing, everybody who's doing for the Thanksgiving dinner. And we see you back there, Reverend Morris. Can't wait for the turkeys. Can we talk about the turkeys some more? Anyway, okay, I am going to report on a few things here. First of all, today is 25 years since Trader Joe's came to Fairfield, and they're celebrating today. And I went there to that. And I remember when it opened, and I remember, just like everything, people underestimate Fairfield and who we are. And so we've shown them for a quarter of a century. And, you know, folks come from all over to shop over there. They've tried to steal it in Vacaville. Didn't work, ain't gonna work. We're doing really well here. So I want to say congratulations to our citizens who actually brought it here. It was a group of folks here who did a signature drive and then hounded Trader Joe's until they gave up and came. And it's worked out for everybody, and I appreciate it because I love going over there. I really love it. I'll never forget one day I went in there and I was down on the dumps, and a friend of mine had committed suicide, and I was weepy. And this lady that was just checking me, she went and got one of their big bouquet of flowers, and she came out to me when I was leaving. She goes, "This is for you. I just hope you feel better." And you know what? That's what we're about here in Fairfield. It was all love, and I just love that place. All the markets in Fairfield are awesome. Just ask me. So the other thing that I wanted to talk about is we had a really grand opening of what's called Fairhaven. And what it is 72 units. We've been working on it for years here, and it was just opened formally, and of low income and very, very low income or no income, really basically for homeless folks. And the place is full. I think there's one that's open, but they have somebody moving in. And it was just fantastic. We listened to some folks who live there. And you talk about, wow. This one woman, she got up and she spoke, and she had her husband who's severely disabled. He had a stroke, but she'd lost her job. And then not long after that, her husband had a major stroke, and he lost his job. They became homeless, and they lived in their car here in Fairfield with their 2 dogs. And then one of our supervisors, county supervisors, ran into her and talked to her and was able to get her into this place. And she said her whole world changed. Her whole world changed. And it was really touching to hear that. But I really want to tell staff, Latan, city manager, and my colleagues, everybody who's worked on getting this, it was no easy feat. And but it's worth it when you see the folks there and seeing something that is working. So when people say, "What are you doing for homeless in Fairfield?" well, we're putting them in apartments, thank you. So that's another just great thing. And then the last thing, well, two other things. I am the chair of the mayor's commission, if you will, or committee of Solano County. And we had the district attorney come and speak to us about Proposition 36. And if you don't know what it is, I'm going to ask you just to look at it. What you do know about is since Proposition 47 was passed, that we've had rampant crime, that our state has let people go for nothing, that it's a turntable of people just in and out, and slaps on the wrists. And we've seen a lot in Fairfield of people coming in and stealing from stores. Stores have closed. When you go to some stores here in Fairfield, everything's locked up. You just want some toothpaste, you have to wait. Well, this, according to the district attorney, Proposition 36 will change that. It's no longer going to be, sure, you can do all the drugs you want in the open. Sure, you can steal it, not anymore. But it's not going to be like 3 strikes. You have to do, it's a measured thing in between, but people aren't going to get away with it anymore. So I'm going to urge you from up here, if you want to see crime slow down in this state, it's Proposition 36. And then the last thing that I'm going to do is, last week, and I don't like doing this, but I'm going to, last week the Planning Commission ruled on a situation with City Church here in town, and I am calling that up. And what that means is, I want to call it up. I'd have to get a second from somebody, but I'm going to turn to the city attorney so he can tell us what happened, and just for formality. And what it means is, I want the city council to reconsider that vote, because it's very serious living issues that we need to address. So just to readdress it, but if you would, Mr. City Attorney.
Certainly, Madam Mayor. So under Fairfield Municipal Code 25.44.4, the City Council may call up any quasi-judicial administrative decisions of the Planning Commission for review by the City Council. That action requires 2 members of the City Council to call for such a review within 14 days of the Planning Commission's decision. The decision you're referring to, just for the record, was a decision made by the Planning Commission on October 9th, 2024, so you're within the 14 days. It is Planning Commission Resolution 2024-10. It was appeal number APP 2024-002 regarding use permits issued by City of Fairfield staff regarding property at 743 East Tabor, also known as City Church. So at this point, pursuant to the Fairfield Municipal Code, we have you as the mayor, a city council member, calling for the review. If you have one more second, you don't need to vote. If we just have one other council member call for a review, that satisfies the requirements under Fairfield Municipal Code 25.44.4, and then the city clerk and city staff will have 45 days to calendar the item for review by the city council.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Councilman Vaccaro. And I would like to move pretty swiftly, as swiftly as we can, to get this on by as soon as we can.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you so much, and thank you, Councilman Vaccaro, for that. Mr. City Manager, a report from you.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Just a reminder for everybody, coming up on October 31st from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. In downtown Fairfield, we're going to have a Halloween spooktacular with family-friendly fun, trick-or-treating, of course, for the kids, as well as some crafts. So anybody that's out there listening, want to come down for a great time, come on down to downtown 3 to 6 p.m. on October 31st. That's my report, Mayor.
Thank you. And any changes to the agenda?
No, but I know there was a discussion to maybe move one item.
Yeah, I'll move.
Okay.
I'd like to move that.
Okay. So I think what we had talked about was moving item 18
Yes.
up to follow the first presentation that's next on the agenda.
Yes, yes. Thank you very much. Mr. City Attorney,
I have nothing to report. Thank you.
thank you. And Madam Clerk?
Yes, I just wanted to report for Samantha, our Homeless Services Manager. The Homeless Services Division is hosting a Homeless Outreach Partnership event, the Hope Resource Affair, and it's going to be on Friday, October 25th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Bay North Church of Christ, and that's at 2100 Pennsylvania Avenue. Volunteers are needed to assist at the event. Resources available will be food, Medi-Cal, CalFresh services, mobile showers, bike raffle, and more. So again, that's on Friday, October 25th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Bay North Church of Christ. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you, Pastor Morris, again, for holding that. Turkeys and this, you're going to get a gold star by the end of the year. All right, we're going to turn to presentations then, please, Madam Clerk.
Yes, presentation 1, proclamation declaring Filipino American History Month, presented by Councilmember Vaccaro to Dennis Yen, President of the Filipino American Chamber of Commerce of Solano County.
Dennis is the president. Sue happens to be my wife, is the chair. And this is my grandson. He's just hanging around. He was getting all nervous over there. So, all right.
Are you speaking on?
So, yes.
Oh,
Okay. Okay, so Filipino American History Month, October 2024. Whereas October 18th, 1587 is the earliest documented proof of Filipino presence in the continental United States, as the first Luzon Indios set foot in Morro Bay, California, and the first permanent settlements of Filipinos in the continental United States and St. Malo, Louisiana, occurred in the mid-1800s. Between 1906 and 1935, the first large wave of Filipino immigrants began to work as farm workers in California and were an integral part of Solano County's agricultural economy and U.S. Armed Forces workforce at Travis Air Force Base and Mare Island Naval Shipyard, all of which set in motion the economic, cultural, social, and other contributions that Filipino Americans have made to our great nation. And whereas the Solano County connection to the Philippines first started when the U.S. Navy sent ships from Mare Island to the Battle of Manila Bay during the Spanish-American War in May 1898, after which they subsequently returned for repairs. And whereas Filipino presence in Solano County dates back over 100 years, starting with the nannies and servants of U.S. naval officers stationed at Mare Island after the Philippine-American War in 1902. Filipino Americans comprise the large workforce sector at Travis Air Force Base, Mare Island Naval Shipyard, medical fields, business entrepreneurs, and the agricultural industry, contributing to the defense, economy, growth, and history of Solano County. According to a U.S. Census Bureau multi-year trend, Filipino Americans continue to grow, and they remain the largest Asian American Pacific Islander group in Solano County, the second largest in California, and the third largest in the nation. Whereas the city of Fairfield and the communities in Solano County have long recognized the contributions of Filipino Americans, several of whom have dedicated many years of service as leaders with various government and private entities, as well as having served as educators, elected leaders, health and social workers, civil servants, military members. And whereas the Filipino American National Historical Society established the commemoration of October as Filipino American History Month nationally, with the theme for 2024 as Struggle, Resistance, Solidarity, and Resilience. The treaty led to the U.S. annexation of the Philippines. And whereas efforts should continue to promote the study of Filipino American history and culture, as mandated in the mission statement of the Filipino American National Historical Society, because the roles of Filipino Americans and other people of color have been overlooked in the writing, teaching, and learning of U.S. history. And whereas it is imperative for Filipino American youth to have positive role models to instill in them the importance of education, complemented with the richness of their ethnicity and the value of their legacy. Now, therefore, I, Catherine Catmoy, Mayor of the City of Fairfield, do hereby proclaim the month of October 2024 as Filipino American History Month, and we encourage all members of our community to study the significance of Filipino Americans their chronicles solid values, rich culture, enduring legacy, and the positive role models that they have proudly and humbly displayed in transforming the diversity and rich history of our historic and beautiful city and our great nation. Thank you. Okay. So I'm going to give this over to Dennis, and Dennis, you want to say a few words? Okay.
Do I want to say a few words?
Sure. You want to hold it, Mace? Yeah, you can hold it. Don't drop it, though. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. Wasn't really prepared to say a few words. I was just going to accept the proclamation gratefully. Thank you to the City Council of Fairfield and to the citizens of Fairfield for this honor. We recognize our community, even though we are Filipino-American. I'm Chinese myself. We embrace the entire Asian American community on a much larger basis, and for them we accept this honor. And please find out more about us. We're under a tremendous amount of pressure socially, and any kind of help we can get in terms of recognition and a few kindnesses here and there would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Aw. That is so cute. Look at that smile. Aw. That's a keeper. He does. That look.
Just like reading a putt. I can get it.
Aw, thank you. Thank you all very much. Aw. He is too cute. Been watching him grow up in your pictures. He's so cute. Okay, now we're going to go on to item number 18, Madam Clerk.
Yes. Public hearing and resolution 2024-259 of the City Council of the City of Fairfield adopting fare structure changes for fast, fixed route local service. And our presenter is Diane Feinstein, Transportation Manager.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. I'm Diane Feinstein, and I oversee FAST, which provides transit services to City of Fairfield residents. I'm here tonight to talk about, before we hold the public hearing, I want to talk about two new partnerships the city is entering into on November 1st and December 1st that will further enhance transit services for its residents. The first involves a new partnership between the city and Paradise Valley Estates, and I'm pleased with the turnout tonight. This all started as a result of a Paradise Valley listening tour in September 2023, where residents from Paradise Valley Estates, or I'm going to refer to them as PVE, raised the need to City Council that its 600 residents and approximately 400 employees needed additional transportation options. At the time of this meeting, FAST was just providing ADA transportation services. So as a follow-up to this meeting, FAST staff provided a presentation in April 2024 to provide residents with information on FAST services and allow residents to have their previously addressed concerns addressed by a staff member who could answer many of their questions. And there were several city council members that also attended that presentation. So since FAST did not have hard data of a need to expand transportation services at PVE, FAST staff recommended at the meeting that PVE residents and employees gather together a petition to demonstrate a need for additional transportation services. Well, let me tell you, PVE is extremely proactive. In 3 weeks, or a little more than 3 weeks, they provided me with a packet of information from their CEO, Kevin Burke, that said that had 402 residents and employees sign And so, of course, I could not ignore that. So in collaboration with PVE staff and residents, we've spent the last 6 months to find a cost-neutral approach that would expand services to Paradise Valley Estates without us having to increase the number of vehicles or drivers, because we do have to consider financial constraints for our programming. But we are planning on November 1st to expand services to Paradise Valley Estates for our Fast Connect on-demand microtransit service. So that's really exciting. We believe we can use our Ride Pingo phone app technology, and we're going to work to increase the ability to move more passengers per revenue hour than we're doing right now. So that's right now, our on-demand service is 15 to 20 minutes. I do want to be upfront with council that our goal will continue to keep response times as short as possible, but Fairfield is pretty big at 41 square miles. So there may be a result delaying our service responses at certain times of the day to up to at least 30 minutes. Right now, we're less than 15 minutes. I just got a report on that today. So things have been running well. But we think we can make this work, and residents and employees are going to be able to schedule rides within the zones with 24 hours notice, and Fast Staff's going to be providing outreach to help residents be able to use the Ride Pingo app, how to pull it down and have it and know how to use it effectively. So we'll have some one-on-one sessions that we will arrange with PVE staff to have all you residents sign up, because we do want to increase our ridership. So there's 2 speakers here tonight that are here to speak. Shannon Dodds, from an employee at Paradise Valley Estates, and the second speaker will be resident representative Sally McNichols. So Shannon, if you could come up.
Good evening. I just wanted to say on behalf of our residents and team members, thank you to the council and everyone who helped make this possible for us. We've learned of certain stories of our team members who are taking buses to work after taking a train or taking an Uber and then walking to work 2 miles to get there. That's certainly not feasible, so this will provide an opportunity to not only get them to work safer, but also get them there faster, and also give us an opportunity to tap into a talent pool that we haven't been able to access, which will allow us to better serve our residents. Certainly as our residents age, their needs for driving transportation services increase, so this will provide them an outlet to continue their independence for as long as humanly possible. So just wanted to say thank you for that.
Sally, you want to come up? Either there or here.
My name is Sally McNichols. My husband and I came to Fairfield 13 years ago to be closer to family. We moved to Paradise Valley Estates, which is a life plan community in which we were able to receive the support we would need as we aged. PVE has progressive levels of care, independent living, assisted living including memory care, and skilled nursing, which you would know as a nursing home. I'm here to represent and speak for the over 500 residents of Paradise Valley. While many of our needs are being met within our community, I'm here to talk about our transportation needs. As we age, we need robust transportation options to maintain our healthcare needs, independence, and a sense of well-being. PVE provides limited transportation within Fairfield and Vacaville. However, this system is stressed, providing rides to those in the care facilities and residents needing transportation to medical appointments. Many residents now also use Solano Mobility Transportation for programs such as Go-Go Grandparent, which provides rides for medical needs, grocery, or pharmacy needs. The option of having access to the Fairfield transportation allows us to maintain independence and facilitates our sense of belonging. When we no longer drive, this allows us to have mobility support for trips such as hair appointments or having a pedicure or just meeting a friend for lunch. Many of us, as we age, dread the day when our family or a doctor tells us that we should no longer drive. Having transportation options may make this difficult decision somewhat easier. The residents of Paradise Valley appreciate the support that the Fairfield City Council and Transportation Department has given us, extending the Fast Connect transit program to our community. Another important factor in our appreciation of the decision to extend bus service to PVE is the ability of Paradise Valley Estates to access a larger pool of employees. We depend so much on our team members to provide for us. We need the assistance of our housekeepers, dietary staff, and nurses' aides, and many others to care for us. Not being on a bus route was a problem in recruiting capable staff who did not drive. The entire PVE community appreciates that you recognized our needs on your listening tool and that you acted to help our community. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, this does not require council action because of the fact that it does not, we're not changing any of our revenue hours, but we wanted to highlight this because they are very excited about the new service. So that action will not be part of the public hearing,
Right.
but I think you did have some
You know,
speakers.
speaker cards, right? So we could do that before we have the public hearing.
Yes.
Oh, I'll just go ahead and open the public hearing. How about that? Okay, it's open.
Okay, our first speaker is Walt Tickner, to be followed by Steve Vansel.
You can come up here.
I deferred Ms. Dodds said everything I wanted to say.
Okay.
I probably wrote it for her. Thank you very much.
Well done, sir. All right.
Okay, Steve Vansel, to be followed by Liz Teresi.
Yeah, likewise, I want to thank very much, this all began from a listening tour from you folks from the City Council, and very much want to recognize Diane Feinstein and her work coordinating with our staff out there. We do have a lot of residents who don't drive, so this is a great assistance for them. But for many of us, one of the biggest points of this is providing employment opportunity for parts of Fairfield. We need certified nursing assistants, we need housekeepers, we need dining service staff. We're a little city inside of ourselves. And many of those folks do not have their own transportation. So this is a way for us to help the city employ some of those folks, because we have some positions that we need to be filled there. So thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you.
Next speaker is Liz, to be followed by Anna Pitero.
I just want to point out, I'm speaking for the second part of Diane's presentation. Would you like me to go ahead and proceed with the second part? It doesn't have to do with the...
Why don't we wait for that? Would you
Okay.
mind? Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Anna, did you wish to speak now? Yes, okay.
Were those all the cards then?
And I'm going to go ahead and take comments on this part right here. It was more like a presentation before we go into the second part, which is the update on the fees and so on. So did anybody have any comment on this, Madam Vice Mayor?
Absolutely. I just want to thank the Paradise Valley Estates community for engaging with us. And this is what the listening tours were all about. We probably wouldn't have become familiar with this very serious and legitimate concern about transportation at PVE had we not done the listening tours. And then the staff really stepped in, stepped up, and really made something happening. So this is the formula for democracy. This is how it should work. This is how it should work. Us working together to solve problems. So thank you, PVE, for being very engaged, very organized, very thorough, and very on time with providing the information that we needed. And thank you to the City Council and to staff for being responsive to your needs, and looking forward to much more. So great job, everyone. Everyone wins here, right? So our ridership is up. Your mobility and employment are up. That's a win-win-win situation. So very good job, everyone. Thank you.
Anybody else on this? I just want to thank all of you for coming out to thank us. We don't get that very often, that part. It's really nice. If you want to stay all night, you can. But I know that some of you want to go to bed earlier, so I get it. Or if you guys want to go out and party, you can take the little bus, whatever. But I do want to say thank you. You all, I wish that we had the same kind of reaction as far as your response was unbelievable. It kind of blew our hair back. It was great. You know, when we asked, oh, can you get signatures? You were like, can we get signatures? And you did it. And Diane, you've been the driving force behind this. Appreciate you. There's a little magic there going on, and all of staff. So thank you all very much. Thank you for coming out tonight. I know this isn't the regular thing you do on Tuesdays, but you're welcome anytime. Anytime you want to come and thank us for anything. If you have bad things to say, you can call city manager's office. But honestly, thank you very much. Thank you. If you'd like to leave now, we'll take a little break and let you go. Thank you.
Thank you for coming out.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you for everybody's patience, and we'll go on to the next part then, Diane. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mayor. I've already introduced myself. You know who I am. Tonight, we're going to hold a public hearing and consider Resolution 2024-259, adopting a fare structure changes for our fast fixed route local service. Just to provide a brief overview, FAST provides 3 types of transit services: Fast Fixed Route, Fast Connect On-Demand Microtransit, and Fast Connect ADA. And I'm proud to say that we have passed our 1-year anniversary in September, so it's going strong. We're looking at 2 proposed changes tonight. One is to provide free youth fares on a fast fixed route. And we're requesting this because we're continuing to try and restore ridership to pre-pandemic levels. So we have partnered with the school district to offer free fares for youth ages 6 to 18 It will just be on fast fixed route because our microtransit service would be overloaded with students at certain times of the day. And so we need big buses, which is what's on our local service. Secondly, FAST is proposing to accept only Clipper cards and paratransit passes on all its services and go cashless on its buses and at its sales sites. And both of these changes as proposed would be implemented on December 1st. So why free fares? There are two main reasons staff is making this recommendation. Like all transit agency, like I mentioned, we're still working to restore ridership. Nationally, many transit agencies are already offering free youth fares to youth, and they have experienced a 100% increase in ridership. Locally, Solano County Transit has already implemented this earlier this year, and in the first month, they saw a 62% increase in youth ridership. So we really feel like this is a win-win, and FAST would benefit from increased use and ridership, while Fairfield Sassoon Unified School District would receive additional state funding because of increased attendance, because of the ability for more students to get to school. And Liz will be back up during public comment to talk about the benefits to FSUSD. There is one caveat to the free youth fares. Right now, California transportation agencies have a suspension on meeting fare box recovery. What that means is we are required as an agency that 20% of our expenses be covered by fares. So that's been suspended through June 30th, 2026. And it may be rescinded altogether. There's a transformation task force statewide that's looking at that issue. So, and replaced with different evaluation criteria. So this action would allow free fares as long as fare box recovery is not reinstated. If it is reinstated, this resolution would enable FAST to restore the youth fares, and FAST would, of course, provide as much advance notice if that occurred as possible to FSUSD and local residents before we would have to reinstate fares. The second recommendation is cash, eliminating cash. MTC has mandated FAST and other regional agencies using Clipper to move completely to the Clipper card as the sole Bay Area fare medium. The date of this upgrade to Clipper 2 for the agencies in this county that currently have Clipper is now targeted to occur during 2025. So in anticipation of this occurring, we did eliminate all paper passes except for our ADA program because the first round of Clipper did not include the ability for agencies to have their ADA services on Clipper. So the paratransit passes will eventually be eliminated, but not until 2025. So because riders have the option of adding passes online or via phone application, there is now less, at our sales site at the FTC, less than $100 each month in cash collection. So I had staff take a look at it, and there's only been five instances where cash has been accepted at the FTC. It actually is costing, it's less than $100 per month, and it's about $120 per month for us to bring Loomis in to process those. So we definitely want to try and do that to save money, and have been collaborating with finance on that too, because they are also, trying to save money with their Loomis costs for water bills and the like. So that would reduce expenses about $30,000 a year. Cash options would still be available to riders at Walgreens, the BART station, and at Clipper outlets. We are also concerned we will have to replace our fare boxes after 2025 because Gen Fare, the contractor, will no longer support them. So taking this action now would save the city $7 million with the purchase of new fare boxes. So that's another reason why we're trying to be proactive and handle this situation now. So I'm available and happy to answer any questions you have.
Colleagues, I'm going to go ahead and take any public comment now first.
Okay, Liz Teresi, to be followed by Anna Patero.
Okay, thank you so much. Good evening, Mayor Moy, members of the City Council, members of the public. My name is Liz Teresi, and I am the Director of Student Family Services for Fairfield Sassoon Unified School District. With me tonight in the third row, you'll notice Holly Collins, our Coordinator of Parent and Family Engagement, Antonio Gibson, our Attendance Support Specialist, and Felicia Williams, our Coordinator of Community Schools. They are here to support me as well as the entire Fairfield Sassoon Unified School District in speaking on behalf of this resolution. We are grateful for our partnership with the City of Fairfield's Transportation Department, and we are here to express our strong support for this proposed resolution to provide free fares for our students on fast local fixed routes. This initiative is truly a game changer for our families and students, especially those from underserved and vulnerable backgrounds. Free city transportation will help break down one of the key barriers to school attendance, and that is transportation. The pandemic significantly impacted transportation options for our students, and we understand how essential reliable, accessible transit is to their success. Providing free rides for our students not only promotes greater use of public transportation, but also aligns with our district's commitment to improving attendance. It ensures that all students, regardless of their financial circumstances, have equitable access to school and their education. This proposal will further strengthen our partnership with FAST, as it allows us to protect student confidentiality while ensuring they can safely get to school. The potential increase in ridership is a win for the city, for our schools, and most importantly, for our students and their families. I urge the council to adopt this resolution, and I thank you all for your consideration.
Thank you, Liz. Thank you all for coming tonight, by the way. We appreciate you.
And our next speaker is Anna Patero.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council. Anna Patero, I'm speaking on my behalf, not on behalf of the board. And I want to first of all really thank the district for coming out here in support of this resolution. When I read this, I was thrilled, I beyond belief, because during my tenure on the board, this has been one of my main priorities. And Councilmember Williams knows, because we live in the same area where Lopes Road is so congested in the mornings, because we have 4 schools in that area. And also, we have students now who have gone from Dover, they're now a K-5, to Gail Wilson on the other side of the freeway. So this will be so, so helpful. Thank you so, so much for this. Our parents are going to be so happy. A little tiny ask, and that is, Assemblymember Wilson organized a tour for some of us to go to Caltransit in Oakland, and they talked about how they were able to incorporate this in San Leandro, and what they did to accommodate the students was during school times in the morning and in the afternoons before school and on the way home, they increased the time in terms of for ridership, and so like 15-minute increments or 10-minute increments to pick up the students during school pickup time and then dropping them off in the afternoon. If you could think about that in terms of increasing the times and for them to attend school and to catch the bus. Also, this will be so helpful in terms of safe routes to school. The more students are in public transportation, not only do we have more backsides in school and more money for our school districts, students get to learn, and it's safer for them to be catching a bus to go to school and then taking one back home instead of walking to school. Some of us still have, we've had 2 students, one was killed and one was hurt badly because of that. So thank you so much for this fast, and please adopt this resolution. I'd like to also thank Madam Mayor for always responding to the community, and for Mrs. Tonneson for always showing up for our community as well. I'd like to thank our firefighters and peace officers for keeping us safe, and for your families for sharing you with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna.
Did anyone else wish to speak on this item? And there are no hands raised online.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing and bring it back to the City Council. Councilman Vaccaro.
Yeah, I'm really glad that this came in front of us. I mean, having a history of working with underserved kids, and as Liz knows, and I was at the Family Resource Center in Armio the other day, and Holly knows, we have so many needy kids in our district, and this is great. I mean, I remember kids that I work with that had a hard time with the buses, and I think Anna brought it up too about tweaking the times, and they couldn't, especially over at Golden Hills, but that was different. But I'm really glad this came in front of us, and I think it's a win-win for everybody. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Anybody else? Yeah, Councilman Tonneson.
Yeah, I had a question, but it was answered, but I want to reiterate it. I had brought up how much cash are we talking? Is there tens of thousands of dollars going through here? And because the Loomis bill and accompanying bills are so much, and it's, hundreds of dollars, if that. So thank you for that, and I'm in full support of this.
Good. I also obviously will be supporting this. I was able to last week go to Abigail Wilson and talk with students as they were coming to school. And I also involved through STA for the Safe Routes to School. So I have talking to the young people, they're always very honest, brutally so. And I learned a lot from them. And, they skateboard, they ride their bike, sometimes going 2 and 3 miles. And so I learned a lot, and I appreciate this. I mean, to me, I never understood why the school buses ever stopped, but here we are, huh? I loved riding the bus when I was little until I got to driving age. Couldn't wait for that. But anyway, I'll take a motion then to go ahead. So moved in a second. Councilwoman Pandora. All in favor? Aye. That was unanimous. Thank you. And Councilwoman Williams, I understand you have a little something you wanted to say.
I did. And I apologize. I was talking about the fire prevention town hall, but I didn't shout out the fire department. And to you, Fire Marshal Steve Conti, you are such a superstar. You lifted that hour and a half, 2 hours of safety with such excitement. Can somebody be that excited about emergency preparedness? And the answer is yes. So sorry about that. I just wanted to pivot back and thank you.
Thank you.
Fire Marshal Steve. Okay, so now we're going to go back to public comments.
Yes, public comments. Persons wishing to address the City Council on subjects not on the agenda but within the jurisdiction of the council may do so at this time. The council cannot discuss or take action on matters not on the agenda for this meeting, but council members may briefly respond to statements made or questions raised by the public, ask for clarification from staff, refer the matter to staff, request staff to report back to the council at a subsequent meeting, or place the matter on a future agenda. To speak on an agenda item, if you're online, please use the raise your hand feature or press *9 on your phone. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes per item. And our first speaker is Harry Matty, to be followed by Jacob Francisco.
Stretch those legs, huh?
First, I've got some good news. Good evening, Madam Mayor and members of the City Council. For the first time in the 44-year history, the Fairfield Adult Recreation Center, named the Fairfield Senior Center when it was dedicated in 1980, for the first time ever, the center will have an entry in the Veterans Day Parade this November. Its presence will honor the many veterans who are members of the center's 26 clubs, groups, and organizations. It is the joyful result of a collegial working relationship between the all-volunteer Friends of the Senior Center and the city's Parks and Recreation Department. And it will speak to the center itself, a safe, sane sanctuary for hundreds of Fairfield residents who come together to socialize, recreate, and quietly contribute to the center's mental and physical well-being. The center, which too often is overlooked as one of Fairfield's finest civic assets, a jewel in the Parks and Recreation crown. My name is Harry Maddy, and it is my great good fortune to be a member of the Friends Board, and as such an advocate for the center, which houses the beneficial activities of oldsters like me and of youngsters like you. In clubs far too numerous to mention in my allotted time tonight. Suffice it to say, without the center and the Friends, Fairfield would be lonelier for many, and its exchequer less robust for all. That last due to the fact that Friday night bingo at the Ark has raised tens of thousands of dollars to support the center and its clubs, a fact Fairfield taxpayers can applaud. To those who have not yet had the opportunity to visit the center, I urge you to come out any Friday night and see the 100 or so players and volunteers who will be enjoying themselves, and watch the Veterans Day Parade when we thank our veterans and salute the center, which incidentally, many veterans now past helped build a half-century ago. Thank you, and God bless Fairfield's veterans. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We look forward to the entry.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Next, Jacob Francisco, to be followed by Efren Hernandez.
Good evening, Mayor Moy, City Council, members of the community. My name is Jacob Francisco. I'm a field representative for Assemblymember Lori Wilson, and I'm actually here tonight to share about two upcoming events that we have that our office is hosting. The first is 8011 at City Hall. So next Monday, we will be here from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. We did send invites to every member of council as well as members of special districts as well as city staff, and so we hope that you can make it. But know that if you can't make it, our door is always open. We're just down the street in Sassoon. The other thing that I wanted to share is that we have our third annual Operation Gobble Gobble, which is happening in Vallejo. We are seeking volunteers for November 20th, which is our packing day from 5 to 7 p.m., as well as our distribution day, which is on Saturday, November 23rd from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. for our volunteers. For more information, just give our office a call. Our number is 707-438-7359. Additionally, you can send me an email. My email is jacob.francisco@asm.ca.gov. Or you can also reach out to Kai Eusebio, who is the assigned field representative for Fairfield. But I'll stay here for a little bit. If any members of the community have questions, I'll be out in the foyer. But thank you so much.
Thank
Hope
you.
to see you Monday.
Thank you for coming tonight.
Of course.
And Efren Hernandez.
Hello.
Hi.
Good evening. My name is Efrain Hernandez. I live in Paradise Valley. I was just concerned about the tree trimming going on in Paradise Valley that we voted and it passed. I know many other neighborhoods that didn't pass it. And my concern is because my house is in Avondale in Paradise Valley, there's a bike lane, and I've lived there for 8 years, and only one time those trees have been trimmed in 8 years. So they're overgrown, and my yard leads to those trees, and I have 3 boys that play in the yard, They play in the yard, and I'm always trying to do my best to keep that danger from my yard. And I know there's a lot of my houses across the Paradise Estates, so there's a lot of old people biking, and it's really a concern. So hopefully we can, the city will do a better job every year trimming these trees and stuff. So it's really a concerning safety issue for the residents there.
Right.
So.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Did anyone else wish to make a public comment? There are no hands raised online.
Alrighty. So Madam Clerk, we'll go to the consent calendar then, please.
Okay, consent calendar. All matters listed on the consent calendar are to be approved with one motion unless a member of the City Council or the public requests that separate action be taken on a specific item.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Second. All in favor? Aye. That's unanimous. Aye. Thank you. Okay, so now we're going to go on to new business. Item 14, please.
Item 14, Resolution 2024-252 of the City Council of the City of Fairfield approving a contractor services agreement with Monarch Tree Service for tree pruning and maintenance services in landscaping and lighting, Maintenance District Number 2023-11, Paradise Valley, and authorizing a budget adjustment to the fiscal year 2024 to 2025 budget for landscaping and lighting maintenance, District Number 2023-11. And our presenter is Chris Lewis, Senior Management Analyst of Public Works.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. For your consideration tonight is a contract with Monarch Tree Services for full pruning and maintenance of trees in the Paradise Valley Landscaping and Lighting Maintenance District Number 2023-11. Also for your consideration is a one-time budget adjustment to increase the appropriations in the fiscal year 24-25 operating budget for the same district for the same purpose. This district was formed in June 2023, and shortly thereafter in September 2023, the city entered into an agreement with TerraCare Associates for routine landscaping services. Those services include things like weekly lawn care, weed and trash control, and irrigation checks. The contract also includes very limited tree maintenance services, which are needed to address minor and isolated incidents of things like tree overgrowth that might impede the walkway or roadway clearances. They take care of dead and diseased branches that might pose a hazard to the public or to the tree itself. And then sometimes trees can get these undesirable growths like water sprouts or suckers, and so we call them out to take care of those as well. What the TerraCare contract does not cover are full tree pruning and maintenance services. So pruning is a specialized horticultural practice that is performed by either a certified arborist or a professional tree care company. And this is normally done every 3 to 5 years or is directed by our city arborist, and that's just depending on the tree species or the condition of the tree. Pruning involves the selective removal of branches, buds, roots, and other parts of the tree, and this is done for a number of reasons. It can be done to improve and control the tree's shape and size. It can be done to manage and reduce disease or damage to a tree. It's done to promote healthy growth and encourage flowering of certain flowering trees. And it's also done to help the tree develop a stronger structure, which makes them less susceptible to things like wind or storm damage, which of course causes unexpected limb cracks or tree branches to fall and causes hazards to the public. Pruning is a specialized, Now, this specialized practice is done by a certified arborist or other tree care professional because if it is not done correctly, or if there is excessive pruning, or if pruning happens more frequently than needed, this work can result in significant consequences for the tree, such as tree health deficiencies. It can weaken the structural integrity of the tree. It can stunt the growth of the tree. It could also cause decay, disease, and even death of the tree itself. So due to the expertise required to perform this work, and because it's a larger scope, it's done on a less frequent basis than routine services, tree pruning is normally fulfilled under a separate contract, separate from routine landscape maintenance services. And I just want to stop there and clarify that while major pruning, as I described in these last 2 slides, is done every 3 to 5 years, those minor maintenance services of the trees are done each year and as needed throughout the year. So as I mentioned a couple slides ago, TerraCare is under contract to take care of those overgrowth, the tree overgrowth that might impede walkway or other clearances, diseased trees, fallen limbs, that type of thing. But major pruning happens every 3 to 5 years, but minor pruning happens throughout the year. For budgeting purposes, at the time the district was formed, it was anticipated that pruning would occur every 3 years. So we were estimating on the lower end of that 3 to 5 year scale. And we estimated that the total cost for every single tree to be pruned once every 3 years, we estimated that to be at about approximately $330,000 per service. So because of this 3-year cycle, the district levies and collects that money from the property owners over a 3-year period. And each year that money gets placed into a reserve account so it's available when we need it. There have been some questions as to why the city levies and collects assessments each year but does not perform the full pruning services each year. And I just wanted to clarify that this 3-year collection cycle is done for a few reasons. So first, it's done to keep the maximum budget and the maximum assessment rates low. So that maximum assessment rate that was set back in 2023 is based on that initial maximum budget that was adopted at the time the district was formed. So if we built into the initial budget for the city to be able to collect $330,000 in 1 year, it would have increased that maximum assessment rate, and it would have technically authorized the city to collect $330,000 in that first year and every subsequent year thereafter, because that would be the initial cap that was set. So this 3-year cycle essentially puts a check and balance on the city's levy and collection practices. Next, we use this 3-year cycle so that we're not hitting the property owners with a $330,000 levy in a single year. Instead of assessments spiking every 3 years and creating a yo-yo effect on their property tax bill, we collect that $330,000 over a 3-year period so that the property owners can have some stability and predictability on their property tax bill. And lastly, it ensures that at least a portion of the funds are available to the district each year so we can address at least up to maybe a third of the trees that might need pruning outside of that regular 3-year schedule. And just on that point, I wanted to also, for the benefit of council and for some of the residents who may have had concerns about the frequency in which the city intends to perform pruning, it's important to note that while the typical practice is every 3 to 5 years, trees are living and breathing organisms, and just like all living things, their health and condition may fluctuate. And based on a number of external factors that are not within the city's control, like rainfall, excess heat or cold, you can have pests and animals that might affect a tree's growth. So that means that trees are growing at their own pace. Trees that are maybe diseased or might just be growing really rapidly for some reason, they might need pruning every 2 years. Where some trees might be slow growing but otherwise healthy, they might not need pruning for every 4 to 5 years. So due to that biological nature of a tree, it's important not to think about pruning and maintenance of a tree the same way you would think of maintenance of something mechanical like a car or something else mechanical, where you would have more of a regimented and fixed maintenance schedule. So just wanted to clarify that for anybody who might have concerns about the frequency. Okay, so the purpose of tonight's presentation and for council's consideration is a resolution to approve a $180,517 service agreement with Monarch Tree Services for tree pruning in the Paradise Valley area. This resolution will also authorize a one-time budget adjustment of that same amount to increase appropriations in the fiscal year 24-25 LLMD number 2023-11 operating budget, and those funds will come from the reserve that has been set aside over the last 2 years for this purpose. So I am available for any questions.
All right, we have speakers on this.
Yes. Rick Johnson, to be followed by Theda Peck.
Public art.
This was 20 feet and landed on our sidewalk. We have so many trees that have fallen, and our trees have never been comprehensively pruned. We don't have 0 year that we can then go 3 years and trim again. We have not had our trees trimmed.
Madam Clerk, could you start the timer,
Oh, I'm
please?
sorry. It's going. Have not been trimmed in the 11 years that I've been a resident in Paradise Valley. So when our district was being formed and we had our engineer's report and the budget that came from that engineer's report, we had $109,000 that's going to be allocated for tree maintenance. We've never had tree maintenance money ever. This served as a real positive that got yes votes on our LLMD. And as the tree limbs were falling this year, we tried to find out when the trees were going to be trimmed. Gary Sponsler, our tree arborist here for the city, identified that in June, we're starting to take bids to get some trees trimmed right away because they're falling. Again, that's a piece of a 20-foot branch that fell on our sidewalks. But we found out that they were not going to do anything for 3 more years. So there was no 0 year in which 3 years were going to take place. Also, within the engineer's report, there is no 3-year plan. There is no delay. There is a list of annual expenditures, and that's what you have in front of you. This is what was approved by the budget. That's page number 1 on your handout. $109,000 is there. All the rest are annual expenses. They're not created as a reserve. There is no reserve in the program. In page number 3, this is the engineer's report estimate of costs that you approved in the June meeting for the budgets. And you'll see the $109,000 is there. But if you turn to the following page, now there's an addition. There is a reserve process. That does not appear in any of the other documents. It doesn't appear anywhere else until this budget takes place. It didn't exist in last year. That's why there is money that exists. There was not a plan on how to disperse it. There has been no information given through the website on the LLMDs to let the residents know what the plan is, so that did not take place. So in Chris's presentation, she speaks to the fact that the trees, as part of the original plan, were to be pruned every 3 years. That doesn't exist. That's not there. And I will admit if I'm wrong, if you can find anywhere in here that says 3-year plan for trees, but I couldn't find it. It doesn't exist. Our residents are wanting to know why they don't have their trees trimmed. We need to talk later about the budget itself. We've got items in here that are huge, that are taken away.
You have 20 seconds.
Our reserves are gone. $95,000 in reserves that were in our plan are taken away. $45,000 of that was irrigation repair. That's gone. Our city tax of how much we pay the city rose from $46,000 as approved to $91,000. 95% increase.
Your time's up. If you'd like to speak, please put in a card. Thank you. Ma'am, I'm going to ask you to please put in a card if you want to speak. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Theodore Peck.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I live in the newly formed 2023-11, TAC 11 district. I haven't been really involved. This is Rick's area, but this weekend I took a look at things. The district's tree maintenance was initially planned to be deferred for 3 years, but due to the residents complaining about the trees having not been maintained for over 10 years, it's probably more than that, the city decided to execute this contract in this fiscal year. The resolution does not address payment of the city's share of the additional $180,000. There are 115 trees located along Manuel Campos' general benefits area. Based on the cost of each tree, per the contract, the city share comes between $19,000 to $24,000, depending on how you do the math. When will that share be reimbursed to our reserve fund from the city? The 24 engineers report shows a budget of $109,000 for tree maintenance, which was included in our assessment fee. The problem I'm having is that the expense is being assessed, and it's assessed, it would have been collected, it was planned not to be expensed, but for the complaints by the residents, it would have been put into the reserve fund. My knowledge and reading, you can't assess for items for future use. If you assess the dollar figure, you need to use it within that fiscal year. You can't, what you're doing is not appropriate. I don't know why you just don't take 1/3 of the trees use that $109,000 for a contract to service 1/3 every year, instead of saving it up and then having this big contract in the third year. The changing of the expenditures and the reserve funding by the staff after the budget has been approved by the board is not appropriate. Comments on why one budget is approved and then used to determine, which is used to determine the fee amount, but that budget is not being executed, would be appreciated for transparency reasons. For example, you have a resolution, you have an Exhibit A, which is your proposed budget for the next few years. That Exhibit A does not show up anywhere in either the engineer's report or the resolution in which it is included. And then you have the engineer's report. If you take those two budgets, they don't line up. I don't know why you're approving one and using something different, because it's not transparent. The current engineer's report indicates a desired reserve balance of $368,000.
You have 15 seconds.
What is the timeline in which the city expects to achieve this balance? Based on this deferral that you're doing, or intended to do, it would have been achieved in 3 to 4 years. Then the questions and concerns, among others, this is why we need an oversight board. Please keep it there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Did anyone else wish to speak?
I'd like to make a few comments.
Okay. You can fill it out after, but you need to come to the microphone. Thank you.
My name is James Simeon from Paradise Valley. I just wanted to make a comment. I agree with Rick 100%. You guys presented a budget and the LLMD to the homeowners. We were one of the communities that approved it. The funds are not being directed to the planned operations that was supposed to be taking place. We are seeing stuff happening in the landscaping, but with the trees, those things are not being addressed, and the funds. To your point, you mentioned about the $330,000 for tree maintenance. If you back up prior to what the city did, where they canceled the maintenance contracts and they turned off the water source, so you caused damage to all those trees along 80, along Manuel Campos, and around Paradise Valley. That caused extra damage to those trees, which the homeowners now have to front the bill for. And now those funds are being diverted somewhere else in the city to other projects. Can you address that?
We will, yeah, we'll speak to it, but
I mean, the homeowners came up,
we will.
we dug in our pockets, we'll say, okay, we'll help pay. I appreciate the last meeting, I wasn't here, but I was on the call, I made a comment. I appreciate what you did. Ms. Williams, Council Williams, you volunteered to get to the bottom of what's going on with the committee that Rick was leading. I appreciate that. Mr. Tonelson, you questioned the mayor and you didn't want to volunteer. Pam stepped up and dug in and said she'll help Ms. Williams, and we appreciate that because it's the taxpayers' money and we're trying to get to the bottom of where it's going. And you stepped away. So I appreciate it, but the money diversion stuff, it's hard to trust the city council.
Thank you for your comments.
All right, thank
Thank you. Oh, can you fill out the card there, please?
I filled it out. I just didn't catch your last name. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Is there anybody else?
Anyone else? Oh, okay. You can fill it out after. Okay.
Yeah, my name is George Villarreal. I've lived in Paradise Valley for 25 years, and all of us acted in good faith.
Yeah.
Passing this tax initiative that went through to help with the maintenance of the landscaping. But the problem is that what the money that we're putting in, there's no transparency. I don't see an accounting of where that money's going, how it's being used, and how it's being allocated. I had a conversation one day with a gentleman that was running the maintenance of one of the many companies that you had that originally had the bid and then quit, and then you had another one. You know the problems.
Yes.
So the gentleman told me that they were working on trying to get a handle on the immediate landscaping problems that were going on. The ivy they cut too close, it was dying. Some of the trees were damaged in the area. The problem I have is that we passed this tax initiative, right? It's increased all of our costs, but we haven't seen anything in black and white that's showing us where this money is going and how it's being utilized. And now we hear that there's a possibility of somebody wanting to use it for something else or another part of the city.
No.
Okay, well,
That's
maybe,
illegal.
maybe you can clarify that by showing us where the money's going and what it's being used for.
Right.
And itemized strictly for the people of Paradise Valley, because we're the ones that voted for it. The accountability needs to go to the people of Paradise Valley.
That's correct.
Thank you.
We'll make sure. Thank you. Anybody else?
I just wanted to comment.
Well, yes, please come up, miss.
I feel like we, the residents of Paradise Valley, need to get some, like the Attorney Jones and the FBI involved in an investigation on the city of Fairfield as to where the funds are. Because you keep talking about what you're going to do for the residents of Paradise Valley, but yet you hear that this is going here and this. We don't see, and as the gentlemen have said, we don't see an exact accounting of what's happening here at the Fairfield. It's almost as if you people are tight-lipped, you don't want to be transparent. We're the ones who have to come out of our pocket to pay for mismanagement of the city budget, because there's no way in the world that we should be paying, when we pay property to, everybody in here pays property taxes. We should not have to foot an additional fee for something that the city should be taking care of automatically. This is, not only is it ludicrous, but it's asinine. So I would like to know, I want to see item by item what's going on. And if we have to get the AG involved or feds involved to do an investigation of the city of Fairfield, definitely that should happen, because we aren't getting the information that we want to see. We're paying for this.
Yes.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, in 2014, I called the Public Works guy, and I think his name was David or Gary or something, and I asked him about the trees that line my street, and I asked him about trimming. I had been in that house since 2005, the original owner. 2014, the trees just went crazy as far as growth. You know what he told me? Well, we're going to have to put you on a waiting list. I said, for what? A waiting list for what? He says, because the city is having serious budget problems. So I said, okay, well, the trees had to go, okay? So I said, well, would you approve me to pay an arborist to come out and remove the trees? He said yes, so fast my head was spinning, because he knew she's going to take care of it, the city doesn't have to pay for it. So I hired an arborist to come out, and he took away all those trees at my expense, because the Department of Public Works was telling me they're going to put me on a waiting list. And I'm like, geez, here it is at 2014, now we're 2024, going in 2025, and the trees on my street, nobody has been out to trim those trees. And I'm going to tell you straight, because anybody that knows me on my street, they'll tell you, that one there, she keeps an eye on everything that happens on the Masters Drive.
You're a good neighbor.
I'm going to tell you, I actually had to call the police on one of my neighbors, because for not following the rules. I grew up in the military, and I was taught, you follow the rules no matter what. And I see right now the city council is not following the rules to the residents of Paradise Valley. And I am furious that we have to pay out of our pockets to maintain the area that we live in. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. And I just want to say that this city council, I know each one of them want this to be transparent. So we're going to make sure that it is and that you see where it's going, all right? We are going to do that, and I know staff wants to do that as well, and then that's what we're going to do. I promise. Write it down. It's on the video.
Can I get your name for the record, ma'am? Thank you.
I like Betty's fire, man.
I'm from the East Coast. I'm DC, New York.
I'm all about it. I'm from here, and I'm like you too. So let's go. Yep, let's go.
Girl, I'm out of your weight class. You don't want to get any play boxing with me. I'm telling you. Just saying. I see you got your hair up. You need them earrings off. Let's go. Just kidding. Anyway, we got this. We'll get this.
Did anyone
I love
else
her.
wish to speak?
Anybody else? How about online?
No, there aren't any hands raised.
All right. So I'm going to bring it back for questions here. Did staff want to say anything about or answer any of the questions or? Mr. City Manager, could you tell us and the public right now about how we know that money that they're paying is not going into some other pocket of money like the general fund or anything like that?
Yep.
How do we know that?
Absolutely. Well, it's accounted for. We have an annual comprehensive financial report where the auditors look. No funds are commingled in that way as is being stated. So going back June 18th, 2024 of this year, City Council, an item came to you that had a public hearing for all of the LLMDs, not just Paradise Valley, but all of the LLMDs, and was open in public here in these chambers on that day. Under Resolution 2024-167, which was a part of that item, the City Council adopted a budget for Fund 188, which is Landscape and Lighting Maintenance District 2023-11, Paradise Valley. And in that budget, it is itemized of what all of the expenses are that are charged to the district, and identified what the revenues were for the district based on the engineer's report that was approved by the City Council.
So where can the public go to see that?
Well, you can go to our website under, gosh, where is it? Yeah, it's under financial reports.
CAFR, under the CAFR, or just?
Yeah, it's under the budget book, or anybody could just go to the page under City Council resolutions and look up Resolution 2024-167. If you want more of the technical side of the accounting, I'm sure our finance director would be happy to answer that in terms of how everything is directly accounted for.
Assistant City Manager has a comment.
No, I just wanted to repeat what City Manager just said.
Oh, thank you.
And may I add also, there was a comment about the share of the city's portion of all of these expenses. So each year we do collect the district collects not only the assessments that are levied from the property owners, but the general benefit portion from the city itself. So in 23-24, the general benefit portion was about $170,000, increased that by 3% for fiscal year 24-25. So both the assessments that are coming from the property owners and the city portion for the general benefit is being added to the district fund, Fund 188, as the city manager stated. That all gets portioned out to take care of operational expenses and then as the reserves as well.
So how much did you say that was again? I'm sorry.
In 23-24, I was just looking here because based on Mr. Johnson's handout, so it's about $170,000 in 23-24. We do increase this by about 3%. CPI each year, so for 24-25.
So it's more than the 24,000 that she's guessing was?
Well, overall, the city's contribution to the district overall is that 200,000.
The trees itself would be 24,000.
Yes, however that.
At $19 or whatever.
And that's all that's all in the itemized budget as well.
And so when they go and look at that budget, they can see that in there.
That's correct.
Correct.
Okay.
There is a difference. Yeah, there's a difference between your budget, city managers, and then.
There's a difference between what was approved under that resolution, the engineer's report, to what is the proposed budget and the usage of those dollars. In my calculations, and I did the exact same thing in the engineer's report, there's a $60,000 difference between what is happening and what's being paid out or expected to pay out, and this is before this contract, then what is in your approved budget in 2024, it's $80,000. So there's a approved budget and a working budget, and they don't match. That's one concern. In the general benefit aspect, that $159,000 that I don't know if you've put it in the fund yet, maybe not until June next year, but once that gets paid, that is for lighting and TerraCare's contract and your portion of your administrative costs. It does not include this $180,000. There's a 27% differential between special and general benefit for the landscaping. If you take that, it comes out to be $24,000. I'm sorry, $24,000 is every tree. The costs per the contract.
Yes.
If you take the differential of the 27%, it comes out to more like $29,000. So you might just want to take the count of the trees. But to account for that 159, the difference between 109 and 180, it's still about $19,000 that you owe to cover that general benefit area. So you got to look at everything and.
Okay, okay, thank you. Did you want to go ahead?
Oh, sorry.
I'm
I
sorry.
thought you were going to move on. I just want to say I disagree. The general benefit did pay the city did pay its general benefit portion for fiscal year 24-25. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I'd be happy to,
If you could please prepare them or just put them together and
Sure.
give them to us and to her.
Sure.
That would be great. Just, we want everything to be, this is their government and their money, and they need to know where it is, and we need to know. So I appreciate. So, yes. I appreciate it. Okay, back this way. Anything else? Yeah. Vice
Yeah,
Mayor?
I just want to point of clarification. So there will be prepared a schedule itemizing the expenditures for this LLMD prepared?
The expenditures are itemized in the budget. It identifies line by line, streetlights, weed abatement, landscape maintenance, PG&E electricity, water services, other expenses, beginning fund balance goes through, and then it has tree maintenance, landscape, street lighting.
Yeah, so, but what I'm hearing the residents saying is that there are monies that are being expended or withheld for reserve that are being used for other.
There's no money being reserved within the LLMD for Paradise Valley being reserved for any other uses other than landscape and lighting maintenance in Paradise Valley.
Okay, so this schedule of expenditures that we're going to prepare is just going to be what's in the budget right now?
That's correct, because that is what's within the contract. Chris might know more of the specifics on the contract than I do, but the contract is based off of the engineering report that identifies the list of maintenance items within the district. And then looking at the engineer's report, it identifies two line items, one for less general benefit portions of $156,925, and then another $2,000, and that was for landscaping, and then another $2,831 for lighting, and the total dollar amount that's identified within the adopted budget on Exhibit A of the resolution I previously mentioned has transfers in from the general fund of $159,756. So all of it is identified there in the budget and then gets accounted for at the end of the year with the audited financials.
You know, I must say that, you know, this is one of our flagship LLMDs that actually passed, right? Of the 9 that were up for 218 vote, this is one of the 2 that passed. So looking forward, it would behoove us to do everything in our power to make this a success story. And what I'm hearing from so that we can go to Rolling Hills and to Rancho Solano and say, we did it in Paradise Valley, it's working. And so you know, we can do it in Rolling Hills, we can do it in Rancho Solano. So, and I say that as a preface to, I'm hearing concerns from this community about this LLMD, and I'm trying to figure out what are we going to do in a concrete manner to address these concerns. I mean, we said we were going to do a list, but what you're saying, Mr. City Manager, is that the list is simply going to be a recantation of what's in the budget, because this is an itemized budget. So I'm saying, what can we do to address what these concerns are? I know we can do something. And so, can I ask Rick to come back up for a few more? I mean, he seems to have his hand up.
No,
I'm sorry I'm inconveniencing people. Come on up, Rick.
Really simple, really easy. The money that we voted for is not the money that's being spent. The reserve money is all gone. We had $95,000 for reserves to replace things. The budget that you signed doesn't have that. Our city costs were $46,000 a year. The new budget, which we approved, the city budget, or the new budget, has a $91,000 city cost. Our city costs went up 95% from traditionally $45,000, $47,000, and that's what we voted for. That's what we all approved. And these expenses the money is not available in this budget. It's gone someplace else. It's within the budget. I'm sure it is. It's not squirreled away, but it's not being applied for the areas that it was designed for. And that's what we're saying.
In other words, we need a reconciliation of Exhibit 1 and Exhibit 3. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, so that's what we need to provide.
Yes.
A reconciliation of Exhibit 1 and Exhibit 3 to what you're holding up right there.
And we're
Exhibit
willing to
1 and
participate in a
Exhibit
workshop.
The
with Chris and-
reconciliation between the 22-23 budget and the 24-25 budget?
The one we approved and the current one that has now been put in place.
Okay. So reconciliation between two totally separate fiscal years, 2 years apart.
You can go ahead and do the in-between one too if you wish, but this is the one that's now been approved that we're now working with. So the money that we approved to be spent in these areas is not available anymore. We have no replacement money available. So the engineer's report.
Yeah, you have a 24-25 engineer's report and then a budget based off the 24-25 engineer's report. So every year an engineer's report is updated and then the budget is built based off of the engineer's report.
Well, it's updated, but you're looking at whole categories being taken out. We had $45,000 available for irrigation repair and replacement. It's been zeroed out. We can't replace a sprinkler head. We had $45,000 that we all liked. We had $25,000 for contingency. We had $25,000 for reserves, both for landscape. They're both gone. Well, one's $10,000 now, or $3,000. So the money that we approved is not there. And there's no reconciliation when a budget goes up. They post things, but for the people to look at it and understand it, there's nothing that they can understand. They can look at the numbers and say, oh, look, there's numbers, but they don't know why it changed. Why did the city expense go from $45,000 to $91,000? There's no place to understand that. There's no information being provided.
And that's where a reconciliation
That's what that
report
is.
comes in.
Yes.
So I think that if we can.
I understand what you're saying now.
Okay, so we'll provide a reconciliation report for Exhibits 1 and Exhibit 3. And that should provide the answers to why these aren't reconciling.
Yes.
Okay.
And use the LLMD website. It's good, but it hasn't been utilized for information since last October is the last entry. It's a great website for keeping people posted with what's going on. We started a good thing, but we stopped it a year ago. So it's a great tool that was initiated.
Okay, Rick, thank you. We got you. All right, I'm bringing it back for a vote. Yes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I have just one last question. That was passed unanimously, Madam Clerk. Have those trees haven't been touched for 10 years, is that true?
No, that's not. As mentioned, we have had a landscape contractor on board to address any dead, diseased limbs, walkway clearances and things like that. But a full,
No, please,
excuse me.
please.
Full pruning, I don't think has been, like for a full pruning one time for all the trees in the district, I think it has been a number of years for that.
All right, so we got to get to it. Thank you. Thank you very much, staff. All right, we're going to go on to item 15, please.
Item 15, Resolution 2024-253 of the City Council authorizing the issuance of special tax bonds for the City of Fairfield Community Facilities District Number 2023-1, One Lake Planning Area 5, with respect to Improvement Area Number 1 and improving related documents and actions. And our presenter is John Furtado, Director of Finance.
We'll just wait for a second until they step out and quiet down, pipe down back there. All right, thank you, and thank you for your patience.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and members of the council. Tonight I'm going to have two items. So this is basically dependent on approving the next item, which is the public hearing. But this is with regards to, I'll just run to the background, what we are trying to do, what documents you need to approve, and the adopted resolution. So back in 2022, the One Lake developer petitioned us to form a new CFD in the planning area 5 of the One Lake project. We went through the process of that CFD being formed, and on February 21st, 2023, it was approved by this council. Later today, as I said, there will be a public hearing to amend the change proceedings. The master developer has currently asked the city to issue bonds against this CFD. Those bond proceeds will be used primarily first to fund the new fire station, as well as to reimburse the master developer for public infrastructure costs as approved in the original documents. So the proposed 2024A bonds that will be issued are based on a taxable property in the improvement area 1, which is the planning area 5, for 110 million. That's the valuation as of end of August. The maximum effective rate that we are allowing is going to be 6%. Hopefully it will be better than that. Current market conditions, we think we would be able to raise around 36.5 million. And the timeline is estimated to be early next year, in January or February. So just an overview of the documents that you are being asked to approve today. The preliminary official statement. That's going to be the statement that we make with regards to all disclosures about what we are offering, what is the pricing of the bonds, and it includes a lot of people involved there. Our disclosure counsel, Jones Halls, they are online for any questions. One Lake, Lennar, as well as city staff. PFM has been our advisor on this, and Stiefel is our underwriter. So the second document you will be approving is the continuing disclosure certificate. And that's basically, once we sell bonds, we are obligated to the public to inform them on any untoward incidents or anything that may impact our repayment of those bonds. And we do that every year anyway. And then we are also going to approve the physical agent statement today, and that is how we would spend these taxes. That is a detailed statement on it. And finally, the bond purchase agreement with the underwriter, with the clause that the discount to par cannot exceed 1.5%. And with that, the recommendation is to approve these documents and adopt the resolution. Bond counsel and I am here to answer any questions the council may have.
Do we have any public speakers on this one?
No. Did anyone wish to speak? No. And there aren't any hands raised.
All right, I'm going to bring it back to the council and entertain a motion. Moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye. That was unanimous, Madam Clerk. And
Item 16.
Yeah.
Public hearing and resolutions 2024-254 through 2024-256 and ordinance 2024-09 for proceedings, including a landowner election, to amend and restate the rate and method of apportionment of special tax for improvement area number 1 of the City of Fairfield Community Facilities District number 2023-1, One Lake Planning Area 5, and increase the amount of bonded indebtedness. And our presenter is again John Furtado, Director of Finance.
before you go, John, I need to read something. This is the time and place for the public hearing for change proceedings relating to the city's Community Facilities District number 2023-1, One Lake Planning Area 5, and Improvement Area number 1 of the Community Facilities District. The hearing is to inquire into A, the proposed increase in the maximum principal amounts of bonded indebtedness that may be issued for each of Improvement Area number 1 and those portions of the Community Facilities District that are not included in Improvement Area number 1, and B, the proposed amendment and restatement of the rate and method of apportionment for Improvement Area number 1. And I'm supposed to ask, I guess, does anyone wish to file a written protest? If so, they must be filed with the city clerk now. All right. And I guess you can go ahead and make his presentation now.
Okay, so I'll be very brief and cover these 4 topics that you see here. So with the developer agreement, we had this agreement signed in 2021. There were 3 amendments subsequent to that. The 4th amendment basically was for the fire station being built by the city versus the developer itself, but the proceeds would come to us. And today what we are trying to do with the change proceedings is the 5th amendment, which is increasing the maximum combined tax rate from 1.65 to 1.75, which was preliminarily approved in September 4th, 2024. What are the changes here? CFD again was formed, as I said in the previous presentation, in February of 23. The change proceedings were initiated by a petition from the master developer. On September 3rd, the council adopted a resolution for the intent for the change in the proceedings that we are seeing today. So a brief overview of the changes. It's changing the rate and method of apportionment here, consistent with the 5th amendment that I just looked at. What this will do is increase the bonded indebtedness from 90 million to 100 million in the general area, and then in the non-improvement area from 15 million to 20 million. So the actions today is to hold a public hearing, which the mayor has already called for. You will also call for the adoption on the resolution for the election in your script. And I won't hash over everything here, but after we are done with that, we are going to introduce an ordinance levying the special amendment taxes on the CFD. The clerk will record that, and in November 19th, which is our next council meeting, we will consider the adoption of the ordinance. And that's all that I have, madam. The rest is all for you.
All right. So again, I'm just going to ask one more time, are there any protests? I see none. I'm going to close the hearing. The hearing is closed. We may now consider and adopt the following resolution, which will call for the property owner vote to consider the proposed changes to improvement area number 1. All right. Resolution of the City Council of the City of Fairfield calling a special election to amend and restate the rate and method of apportionment of special tax for improvement area number 1 and increase the authorized principal amount of bonded indebtedness for improvement area number 1. I'll entertain any questions or directions, anything from colleagues? Nothing? Okay. So I'm going to entertain a motion and a second to adopt the resolution.
And Madam Mayor, just to be clear, this is Resolution 2024-254.
Yes, sir. All right, we got a motion and a second. Okay, all in favor? Oh, yeah, we'll hold up just a sec. Thank you. A weird meeting. I'm gonna go there and rumble with somebody. All right, so we have a motion and a second on the floor. All in favor? Aye, and that was unanimous. I'm gonna ask the city clerk to open the ballots and announce the results of the election.
Okay, I have 2 ballots. I'll open the first one.
And Madam Mayor and Madam City Clerk, just to make sure, the deadline to bring in applications was at the start of this meeting. Is there anyone in the audience who has a ballot that they'd like to provide to the city clerk? And I see none, so.
Thank you, Mr. City Attorney.
And it's a yes vote. And I'll open the second one. And one more yes vote.
All right, so the record shows that at least 2/3 of the property owner votes in improvement area number 1 are in favor of the proposed changes to improvement area number 1. We may now proceed with the final actions required to accomplish the proposed changes. The actions include 2 resolutions, which we can take together, it says here. Is that all right? And the introduction of an ordinance, which we will consider separately. All right, so the first is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Fairfield declaring results of a special election to amend and restate the rate and method of apportionment of special tax for improvement area number 1 and increase the authorized principal amount of bonded indebtedness for improvement area number 1. And then the next resolution of the City Council of the City of Fairfield determining that an amended and restated rate and method of apportionment of special tax for improvement area number 1 and an increase in the authorized principal amount of bonded indebtedness for improvement area number 1 are lawfully authorized, approving an increase in the non-improvement area number 1 bonded indebtedness limit and waiving provisions of the city's amended and restated statement of goals and policies concerning use of the Melrose Community Facilities Act of 1982 as amended. So,
And Madam Mayor, sorry, that is, just for clarity, those are resolutions 2024-255 and 2024-256.
thank you, sir. I'll entertain a motion. We got a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. That is unanimous. And finally, I'm going to entertain a motion and a second to introduce and waive the full reading of an ordinance entitled Ordinance of the City Council amending and restating ordinance number 2023-05 and levying special taxes within City of Fairfield Community Facilities District number 2023-1, which is One Lake Planning Area 5.
And Madam Mayor, that is ordinance number 2024-09.
Okay, and we got a motion and a second. All in favor? The motion passes, and that's the end of that item. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, all right. So now we're moving on to 17.
Item 17, public hearing and resolution 2024-257 of the City Council of the City of Fairfield annexing territory Green Valley 3 apartments to Community Facilities District number 2012 2024-2, Public Safety Services, Open Space Operation and Park Maintenance as Annexation Number 69, authorizing the levy of a special tax within the annexed territory and submitting the levy of a special tax to the qualified electors thereof, and Resolution 2024-258 of the City Council of the City of Fairfield declaring the results of a special annexation election in territory annexed to Community Facilities District Number 2012-2, Public Safety Services, Open Space Operation and Park Maintenance, determining the validity of prior proceedings and directing recording of amended notice of special tax lien for City of Fairfield Community Facilities District Number 2012-2, Public Safety Services, Open Space Operation and Park Maintenance, Annexation Number 69, Green Valley 3 Apartments, and our presenter is Valerie Stanfill, Management Analyst with Public Works.
Hi, Valerie.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. Before you tonight is Annexation Number 69 for CFD 2012-2, which funds citywide public safety services, open space operation, and park maintenance. The territory proposed for annexation is known as Green Valley 3 Apartments, and once constructed, the development will be a 185-unit multi-family residential development. City Council initiated the annexation process for this territory on September 3rd with adoption of Resolution Number 2024-217. By conducting a public hearing, carrying out the ballot procedure, and adopting the proposed resolutions before you, Council will complete the annexation process and the territory will be added to the district. This concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and open the public hearing. Any public speakers on this, Madam?
No. Did anyone wish to speak? No. No hands raised online.
All right, thank you. I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing. I'm going to entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2024-257. Second, all in favor? Aye. Okay, and then I'm going to entertain a motion to approve Resolution...
Actually, I'm sorry, Madam Mayor. She needs to open the ballots.
Oh, all right, got ahead of myself. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
And there are 6 yes votes in favor of annexation.
All righty. So now I'll entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2024-258. Got a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Okay.
We already did item 18, so...
Okay. Well, we're stunned into silence. I can't believe it. I guess we are done. No other business before the council. I'll adjourn until November 19th, 2024. Thank you all for your patience tonight. Yes, thank you.